most people invest like in a mentorship program is something to do with pricing. And most bookkeepers struggle with pricing from a mindset perspective due to a combination of like self-worth challenges, fear of rejection, a lack of confidence in their value. And there's a number of different reasons why. So number one, most people are basing like their prices on effort, not value. So historically, and most people have been like trained to kind of think and just operate is that, it's all about hours worked. Now, in some cases, there are times when, pricing hourly is okay, but at least in our mindset of how we think about pricing, it's not always just based on like how much time you spend. Case in point, some people like they're like, well, it doesn't take me much time to do the client's books. Like it costs me or it takes me like 1 hour and I charge like $300. So it's $300 an hour. And like that's kind of how they do their mindset. And like on the small clients, yes, that makes sense, but on the larger clients where it actually counts, that's not going to fly in a lot of cases. Now, that's number one. You have to really be thinking about the value of what you bring. I'm going to talk about how to like really think about the value in a minute, but number one, it's not based on your effort or your time that you spend. It's about the value you bring. Number two, a lot of people struggle with like charging correct price because they are afraid of losing clients by charging more. So most accountants and bookkeepers really undervalue bookkeeping service because they think their clients will say no to higher rates. So instead of like really owning your expertise, a lot of people like will lower the price and they will really attract cheap and demanding clients. It's very interesting that it's like the lower your prices, generally the worse the clients that you're going to attract in most cases. Now, sometimes like you might be charging a low price and it matches like you have a business owner that's like a startup that has like they did like maybe $30,000 in the first year. Okay, that could be, a $50 a month client, $100 a month client. Like I wouldn't take them on if they're too small, but that it would be, normal. But where this really struggles is that a lot of the times if you're charging low prices, you're getting people that should be paying like $1,000 a month, but since they're paying $3 or $300 a month, they're generally the cheapest mindset people that will be the most demanding, and they'll be treating it like they're doing you a favor by working with you. Now, in a lot of cases, the more money that someone pays, oftentimes the more they actually respect you and they respect your experience. They kind of defer to your expertise, right? Oftentimes, what happens is like if you charge a smaller amount of money, you're gonna have a client and like they never really implement any of the changes you say. You try and make a suggestion, they kind of treat you like, oh, that's thanks, whatever, and they don't implement anything. They just ignore you, and it's just very, very frustrating. Next thing is imposter syndrome. So, in a lot of cases, some people are charging the value of their service with their level of either experience or their self-worth. So new or even experienced bookkeepers oftentimes question like whether they're worth the higher price. And they oftentimes will compare themselves to like larger firms and think like, why would someone pay me instead of paying them, right? Like, if I have 1 year experience, 2 years experience, or 10 years experience, why would someone work with me when they could go with a firm that's 100 years of experience? They have like 30 different employees and staff, accountants and staff. Like, why me? Right now, in reality, a lot of clients are not paying for size or necessarily direct experience, right? In a lot of cases, they're looking for trustworthiness, reliability, and peace of mind. So I'll give you an example. So I've had it where a lot of our students will report that they get clients, they'll pick up new accounting and bookkeeping clients because the client goes, "Oh, you're just so reachable." Versus when they work with a larger firm, there might be a lot of red tape. Like they might be working with like what do they call it? A case manager, an account. Sometimes it's a case manager or an account executive, or it might be a junior staff accountant who has to go talk to like the senior staff accountant, who then has to go and ask a question to like the CFO, and just keeps like there's so many layers of communication that they have to go through in order to get a very simple answer. And a lot of business owners don't like that. So it's almost like a lot of the firms almost like size themselves out of the market that you're competing in, right? Because after a certain point, if their customer service goes down, they're basically living off of the legacy that they've created from their existing clients, and they're getting most of their stuff off referrals or super, super, super large enterprise cases that are between like 10,000 to like $50,000 for some of these like projects. Now, you're not competing with someone like that. You're probably not charging $20,000 a month for something. You're probably not charging $50,000 a month for a service. You could be, but in most cases unlikely, right? You're going to be charging 500 to $5,000 per month per client on average. Sometimes you could go up as high as $10,000 per month, but once you get past about 7 grand a month, the client work and client load does feel more like a full-time job than just like a part-time contract. So just kind of be aware of that and just like it's not always just about you. In a lot of cases, it's really about like what were they previously used to, right? It's like you don't have to be like, the GQ world's most sexy man like The Rock Johnson if the person that you're marrying was married to someone that was really mean to them and didn't really treat them with respect and, was always kind of like cheating on them, right? So it's like comparatively to them, not saying like you're a bad person or anything if like you're not like, The Rock on GQ, right? But you don't have to be like the best. You have to be better than all the other experiences they've had in the past, and just do your best and be who you are. A lot of the clients will choose you just because of who you are. Cool. Next thing, a lot of people actually price their services based on the prices that they can afford. You'd be so surprised how many bookkeepers will say like they'll base their prices based on their existing personal finances, and they'll be like, "I wouldn't pay $500 a month for bookkeeping, so other people won't either." It's like, well, I mean, number one, of course, you probably wouldn't pay $500 a month if it's for your business and your business just got started. That is kind of the point. But to say that no other clients will do it just because of you, that's not really based in reality. That's more based in kind of like, a different zone. In a lot of cases, business owners actually expect to invest in services that save them time and money. So there's three or four main real classes of like people that buy, right? There are people that try and get everything for free, people try and get everything on like the cheap discount, people that try and pay like reasonable value, and there's people that buy luxury, right? So the people that get it for free, that's not really who we're looking for. Those people are going to try like, to do some work and then disappear. The next one are people that are like cheap, right? So that's the kind of people we talked about in the first step, where it's like they're going to try and nickel and dime you. The next one is that there are some people that don't mind paying a reasonable, equitable exchange of value. So if they get, they put $1 in, then they expect to get anywhere between like $2 to like $10 back, right? And that they're using a math equation to see exactly how much money you're making. Those are really good clients. They're very fair clients, right? Having a fair client is oftentimes better than having an extremely high price client because the fair clients will allow you to increase your rates as the workload becomes, drastically changing. The fourth type of buyer is going to be a luxury buyers. Those are people that buy like from Louis Vuitton, from Coach, Gucci, et cetera, et cetera, right? Now, they're oftentimes looking for the best in class. And now best in class can be based on perception of best. It could be based on like skill set of best. It could just be the most expensive option, right? So we want to be within like the class three and the class four buyers. And again, by just expecting that everyone's like you, maybe you in your lifetime have been a level, one or level two, right? You want to get stuff for free, or maybe you wanted, to nickel and dime and haggle, right? So it's like it's very hard for people that are in tier like zero and one to really, I'm sorry, in one to two to connect with tiers three and four. So in order to start connecting, you have to look for places inside of your life, like investing in your business, to start investing in your business like a tier three or a tier four does. That's the only way. Like it's so crazy. I remember like my uncle, he's a CPA and like he for years he was cheap, so cheap. And then whenever he would try and run his business and try and like sell stuff to people, everyone would rather want to like get it for free or like super low prices. Like, what do you expect? You when you were going to the thrift store and like in nickeling and diming that $5 t-shirt to $1, who was standing next to you in line? The guy who's not trying to nickel and dime you on your CPA services. It's right because they're like in your same circles. So yeah, that's the one thing. Like because I used to be pretty relatively cheap-ish too, and like for me it's because I didn't have any money right at the time. So what I started doing was I started investing in my business, and it's like every single time that I invested in my business, I was able to keep getting more and more return over time, and just kept moving and moving and moving forward, right? So it's actually very interesting to kind of see that trajectory kind of going. But yeah, you have to change yourself first before you can really change the world, right? They talk about what Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror. First, you got to change the man in the mirror, then everything else around you starts changing as well. Cool. Next thing is not really understanding your unique selling proposition. Now, bookkeepers oftentimes fail to differentiate themselves from their competitors. Now, they price like everyone else because they haven't clearly defined what makes them special. Now, every single one of you guys is going to have to figure out what that's going to be. You could be, let's say that you are a black or brown person. You could be an accountant or bookkeeper that you only service like people in your own community. You could be someone where you only work with like dentist office or e-commerce businesses, right? That can be a niche, right? You could work with people that like to be creators. You could have your own YouTube channel, which separates you as well, because like maybe people like watching and listening to you and they're gonna buy from you just because they really enjoy talking to you and like learning from you, right? So a lot of different options that you can kind of do and you can kind of have as well. But when you can really understand that, sometimes it's also just the fact that you only work with a small amount of people can be unique. Kind of we talked about earlier, the bigger firms they have like 100 to 1,000 clients, and they don't really give any one of them like really good customer service. Your unique edge could be how much customer service you give. Cool. Next thing people struggle with is sometimes people have a very emotional attachment to money. So some people have, and some bookkeepers and accountants have limiting beliefs around like money and wealth. So for example, I had one student who like really, she grew up where money was really, really tight. And like and it was really hard for her to be able to kind of connect with those like level three and level four people because like she didn't understand the way they spent money. So she would talk to them like they were a level one type of person that's looking for discounts and rates, and that would really severely turn them off, right? Because then you're basically calling them cheap, and like a lot of them do not like being called cheap or poor. Right, right. They think like if you need a discount, it's because you don't have the money to do it. So like that's a real thing. Like you might be watching this, shake your head, like, what do you mean? Like just because someone gets a discount doesn't mean that they don't have any money. It's like, yeah, I understand, but to the person you're trying to sell to, right? When you're putting yourself in their shoes, oftentimes they will actually take a discount as an insult to you thinking that they cannot afford it, and they actually might have attachment to like their perception of how they're perceived when it comes to their money. Right. Some people grew up thinking like, or even hearing that like rich people are greedy, right? That's number one. Some people think that like money is hard to make is what they heard, or they might subconsciously avoid charging premium rates because if rich people are greedy, I don't want to be rich. And if money's hard to make, then I have to like charge a low amount of money because if I charge the right amount of money, now making money is easy, and that's not good, you know? So it's all about just like learning how to really think in terms of money and like think in terms of abundance in order to kind of go there. Yeah, just really learning how to shift into abundance. Usually shifting to abundance starts with like spending money and like it could be spending money like on something you would never buy. Like go and like get like a massage or like a massage place or go I think a lot of people will go and get like their nails done or go to like what are those called? Not salons. It's like a nail place of some sort. I don't know exactly the phrasing of it, but like go treat yourself to something that you usually would not do because if money is tight, you know what I mean? And just like start training your brain. And I don't mean to go splurge. I don't mean go spend like $10,000 on like a new car randomly and just be like, floating in your car talking about abundance. You know what I mean? Like it's just start showing yourself that if you do spend money, it's not going to kill you. I think that's a big thing that I had to learn for a while. Um, Cool. So how to start really changing and fixing your mindset to charge more. Number one, stop charging by the hour. The only time I charge by the hour is if it's a very specific, unique case to one of the students in a mentorship program. But if you're not in our program and you don't understand what those specific times are, then I would focus on doing value-based pricing instead. Number two, start learning how to own your expertise. Even if you're new, your service still saves clients time and money. So you can attach a dollar amount to that and you can charge a percentage of whatever you're going to save, make, or help them go and like do. Next thing, understand your clients' pain points, right? Business owners don't just want bookkeeping. They want peace of mind, fewer tax surprises, and more time, right? So learn what you're selling and learn what the tangible value of trade is, right? So here's the thing. If you don't have a unit of measurement, then you can't trade. So I cannot take this gold piece if I don't have something to trade it with, and if I don't know what the value of this stuff is, right? So if I trade this money for this gold piece, it's a clear transaction of value. But unfortunately, You and your business do not know what your piece of gold is. Your bookkeeping is a piece of gold. But if you do not know how to accurately price it out, or you've never even thought about pricing it out, or even understand what does it do for the end of the client, you're not going to be able to assign an appropriate value and it can be ripped off every single time. Next thing, practice saying your price with confidence. Okay. The first time you say a really high price, it will feel uncomfortable, but confidence grows with repetition. One thing I used to do was before every single consultation call, if I was nervous about the price, I would say the price like three times before the call, and then like I would just keep saying it out loud and out loud, out loud, out loud. And then what I would do is like when I was actually doing the sales call, it would be a lot easier because I already said the price three or four times. Also, what I would do is if there was a price point that was higher than what I was like used to, I would say the price so emphatically, and I was looking for the person to say no. Because what I learned is that if someone said no to my price and I didn't die, okay, well then I'm good. You know, I'm good and I'm safe. And like that's all your body really needs to know. And like you're not going to be ostracized for saying a price that's way too expensive. That's a really big important thing to do. Next thing, start positioning yourself as an investment, not a cost. So you need to start learning how to show that your service helps businesses grow and avoid financial mistakes, right? It kind of goes back to understanding your client's pain points. If you understand someone's pain points, then what you can do is you can start really showing them what is the cost of inaction, the cost of not only paying for the service, but what's the cost of them not paying for the service? Like, what is going to happen if they don't? If you can learn how to really paint that, it makes the amount of money someone's willing to pay you a lot higher because they value what you have a lot more. Now, final thoughts. Pricing is 80% mindset, 20% strategy. Once bookkeepers shift their thinking, they can charge what they're worth and attract better quality clients. Okay. Now, if you need some help learning how to price your services, like maybe you don't have a pricing calculator, I can give you a pricing calculator, or you have a pricing calculator, but whatever price you're saying on your existing calculator just is not getting accepted, I can help you fix that as well. Okay. Either way, the main thing that we do inside of our mentorship programs, we help people go and get to that next level so that they can really live the life that they want, a life of being able to spend time with their family, a life of being able to go on vacation without having to like check in with anybody or feel like, you're going to get fired because, some work was missed. Okay, but just making sure that you can live a life by design instead of a life that's, is given to you. So if that's something you feel could be helpful or that's something you want, go ahead and click the link inside the description, either above or below the video to book a call with myself to see if I can help you inside of a mentorship program. Okay? I will talk to you soon. Have a good rest of your day and take it easy.